Welcome to Haunted Stories. Feel free to support me by subscribing and liking, so I know that you enjoy my daily content. So huddle up, turn off the lights, and get ready to immerse yourself in the enigmatic world of horror tales. First story, Unseen Observer. In the heart of the bustling city, Rachel's daily routine was predictable. From her morning run through the park to her late-night hours at the local bookstore. Her life felt safe and mundane until an unsettling sense of being watched began to creep over her. It started with subtle signs, a feeling of unease during her jogs, a shadow that seemed to linger at the edge of her vision. She brushed off the unease, attributing it to her overactive imagination. But as the days passed, the signs became more tangible. One evening, as Rachel closed the bookstore and walked home, she noticed a figure standing under a streetlight, watching her. She quickened her pace, her heart racing, but when she dared to glance back, the figure was gone. Her sleep that night was fitful, plagued by vague nightmares of being pursued through a labyrinth of dark alleyways. The feeling of being watched intensified. Rachel began noticing the same face in crowds, a face that seemed to observe her with an eerie intensity. She spotted it on the subway, at the coffee shop, even on her way to work. The face became etched in her memory, a constant reminder of the lurking presence. Desperation gripped Rachel, and she confided in her close friends about the stalker. They were concerned and urged her to contact the authorities. But without concrete evidence, Rachel hesitated. She was trapped in a chilling cycle of fear and uncertainty, never knowing when or where her unseen observer would surface next. Her nights turned restless, her home no longer a sanctuary. Every creak of the floorboards, every gust of wind against her windows became a reminder that her privacy had been invaded. The crackling static of her phone seemed to whisper threats, and shadows took on sinister shapes in the corners of her vision. Determined to regain control, Rachel took self-defense classes and installed security measures in her apartment. She sought solace in routines that had once brought her comfort, but the stalker's presence was an unshakable specter. She even considered relocating, hoping a fresh start would bring an end to the torment. One evening, as Rachel was returning home, she noticed an envelope slipped under her door. Inside was a chilling message, a single photograph of her walking in the park, taken from a distance. Fear clenched her heart as she realized the stalker was closer than she had ever imagined, capturing intimate moments of her life. With her friends by her side, Rachel finally reported the stalking to the police. They took the matter seriously, investigating the photograph and the unnerving presence that had haunted her for so long. The days turned into an agonizing waiting game, every moment fraught with anticipation. Weeks passed, and the police identified a suspect, a man who had been living in Rachel's building, hiding in plain sight. They arrested him, and as Rachel faced her tormentor in court, a mix of fear and relief washed over her. The man's motives remained unclear, his obsession a chilling reminder of the darkness that can reside within even the most familiar places. Though the stalker was apprehended, Rachel's sense of security had been shattered. Her life would forever be colored by the knowledge that someone had invaded her world, watching her every move from the shadows. The city she had once called home felt unfamiliar, and the scars of her ordeal ran deep. Second story, The Obsession Unveiled. In the heart of the art world, Victoria thrived as a celebrated painter known for her vibrant and captivating canvases. Her loft apartment was a sanctuary where creativity flowed freely. But her world took a sinister turn when she began to receive anonymous letters praising her work in disturbingly intimate detail. The letters started innocently, praising her artistic prowess and expressing admiration for her talent. But they soon evolved into unsettling declarations of affection that delved into the minutiae of her life, from her daily routines to the color of her favorite dress. Victoria's initial curiosity turned to unease as the letters revealed a depth of knowledge that sent shivers down her spine. As the letters increased in frequency, Victoria's sense of security unraveled. She began to doubt the intentions of those around her, questioning whether her friends and acquaintances were responsible for the unnerving messages. Paranoia consumed her thoughts, and she became isolated, unable to trust even those closest to her. One day, Victoria discovered a package at her doorstep. Inside was a meticulously crafted replica of one of her paintings, complete with intricate details that mirrored her style. It was a haunting mimicry that sent a chilling message. Her art, her identity, was being invaded by an obsessed admirer. Desperate to regain control, Victoria sought help from a private investigator. They combed through her life, analyzing her circle of acquaintances, her social media presence, and her interactions. The investigation turned up empty, leaving Victoria even more terrified of the enigmatic stalker who seemed to anticipate her every move. As the stalker's obsession grew, so did Victoria's determination to unmask their identity. She threw herself into her art, pouring her fear and frustration onto the canvas. The loft that had once been a haven of creativity became a fortress of paranoia, every sound and shadow a source of dread. One night, as Victoria worked late in her studio, she heard a soft noise behind her. She turned to find a figure standing in the shadows, a figure that had haunted her thoughts for so long. It was a man she had never seen before, yet his gaze was filled with an intensity that sent chills down her spine. Frozen with fear, Victoria's voice caught in her throat as the man stepped closer, revealing a disturbing knowledge of her life and work. He spoke of his admiration for her art, his desire to possess it, and his belief that he could create a bond stronger than any connection she had ever known. Summoning all her courage, Victoria managed to contact the police discreetly. Within moments, they arrived, apprehending the stalker who had infiltrated her world. As he was led away in handcuffs, Victoria's mixed emotions of relief and terror collided, leaving her shaken to her core. In the aftermath, Victoria's loft was no longer a sanctuary, her art forever tainted by the dark shadow of the stalker's obsession. Her creative process had been altered, her sense of safety forever compromised. The experience had unveiled the unsettling truth that admiration can turn into possession, and the pursuit of identity can be twisted into a chilling game of manipulation. Third story: The Digital Shadows. In the age of digital connectivity, Sarah's online presence was a reflection of her vibrant life, a well-curated Instagram, an active Twitter, and a thriving blog. Her followers admired her photography skills and enviable lifestyle. But the line between admiration and obsession became disturbingly blurred when she noticed the same username repeatedly interacting with her posts. At first, the comments were innocent enough: enthusiastic praise for her photography, admiration for her fashion sense. But gradually, the tone shifted. The user began referencing details from her personal life, things she had only shared with close friends. It was as if the screen held a window into her private world. Sarah's unease grew as the comments escalated in intensity. The user claimed to know her better than anyone else, as if they had an intimate connection that went beyond the digital realm. Her sleep became disrupted, her phone notifications a source of dread rather than excitement. One day, she received a direct message from the user, a chillingly intimate message that detailed her daily activities and even her thoughts. The message was accompanied by a photo, an image of her, taken from a distance, seemingly during one of her morning runs. Her heart raced as she realized that her stalker had crossed the boundary between online and real life. Determined to regain control, Sarah tightened her online privacy settings and blocked the user. But her stalker was relentless, creating new accounts to continue the harassment. They began sending messages not just to her, but to her friends and family as well, revealing private details that left her feeling exposed and vulnerable. As the lines between the virtual and real world blurred, Sarah's anxiety extended beyond her online presence. She began to question every interaction, every glance from strangers on the street. Her once thriving social life dwindled as she retreated from the world, seeking safety within the confines of her home. Desperation drove Sarah to seek help from cybersecurity experts and the police. But the elusive nature of online harassment made it difficult to trace the stalker's identity. Despite their efforts, the user continued to infiltrate her digital existence, reminding her that nowhere was truly safe. One evening, as Sarah was scrolling through her blog comments, she noticed a particularly unsettling message. The user claimed to know where she lived, providing eerily accurate details. Fear clenched her heart as she heard a knock on her door. Trembling, she approached cautiously, her heart pounding in her chest. Opening the door, Sarah found herself face to face with a stranger, a person she had never met, yet their eyes held an unsettling familiarity. The stalker's obsession had escalated from the digital to the real world, infiltrating her physical space. Panic gripped her as she realized the depth of the danger she was in. Summoning her courage, Sarah managed to close the door and call the police. They arrived swiftly, apprehending the stalker who had managed to bridge the gap between the virtual and the real with chilling ease. As they led the person away, Sarah's mixed emotions of relief and terror collided, leaving her shaken and scarred. In the aftermath, Sarah's online presence was forever tainted by the memories of her ordeal. The digital world she had once embraced with open arms became a source of fear and anxiety. The experience had shattered her sense of security, revealing the terrifying truth that the virtual realm can hold real and tangible threats. Thank you for joining us for the whole video. If you've enjoyed this eerie journey, show your support by hitting the subscribe button and giving that like button a hearty smash. It's your way of ensuring I keep bringing you free, thrilling content. Did this tale send chills down your spine? Let me know in the comments. Stay tuned for more spine-tingling narratives. Until next video.